All right, everyone. I wanted to go live. I've never actually gone live before on YouTube, so um, that is neither here nor there about the carnivore, but it might explain some hiccups. Anyway, I decided to do a 14-day carnivore experiment. And because I value hearing other people's experiences, then I decided that it would only be fair if I shared my own. And so that is what I'm doing. So I'm going to give you an introduction of who I am and why I decided to try the carnivore experiment and what I hope to get out of it. And also just run a daily video log vlog um, about my experiences so that it can be informative and helpful and help you make a decision your way. And also because sometimes we just flat out forget why we did what we did. And so I thought that showing up and doing it live would remind me and also be beneficial to others. So, first of all, my name is April Bragg, and I am a Christian life and relationship coach. And the reason that's important, I wouldn't normally say that is because one of the reasons why one of the benefits I'm hoping to get from the carnivore diet is I have I have dealt with anxiety and I have coached around anxiety, and I have psychologically answered a lot of things that I have been anxious about in my life, fears and different things like that. I even help my clients do that. But as I'm hitting my mid 40s, I'm 45 exactly, um, it feels like there might be a physiological component to some of my anxiety. And it is not debilitating. Um, Feels like it could have been if I didn't have the life coaching tools that I teach and that I use on a daily basis. But it's one of those things that you've made peace with it, but it's ramped up a little bit. And part of it is because I am going through some new experiences in life and I'm taking on some new challenges. And it is to be expected because I have anxiety around new experiences and I have sometimes social anxiety. So, even though these are to be expected, one of the reasons why I wanted to try out the carnivore diet, specifically this 14-day experiment, is because it has a reputation for helping mental clarity and mental calmness. And so I am, if at all possible, so here's where the Christian comes into it. I believe that our bodies were created in a marvelous, fabulous way to self heal and to self regulate, and that they were created by design. So, in case you're wondering, I am not coming from the position that we evolved to eat this way. I am coming from the position that we were created and that God did intend us to eat animals. So I've never been anti-meat in any way. I think if you look back, I did not mean to go into all this, but if you look back into some of the earliest chapters in Scripture, they talk about Abel being a shepherd. So why else would he be keeping sheep? I don't think just for a bunch of pets. So anyway, those are some of my, top of the line reasons. So I having this strong conviction, this strong belief that our bodies are meant to self-regulate and meant to self-heal, then I think that there is an optimal way of eating. And there might be some variety between different people, based upon gut biome and things like that and hereditary things. But I believe that basically, if it's whole, if it's created food, if it's not processed, if it's not man-made, then on a general speaking principle, then it was probably more intended for what we should eat. So there's that thought. Um, that's one of the reasons why. Second reason why is because I do enjoy meat. So it is I enjoy food of all kinds. I really, really do. But meat, has always felt nourishing. Like, if I ate a salad and I did not have a good amount of meat or a good amount of fat on it, then I would feel like I did not even have a meal. So, those are a couple of the reasons why I chose to do this. Why 14 days specifically? Because I feel like I could learn a lot in 14 days. I do not want to set myself up for failure by saying, I am just going to do this for the rest of my life. Welcome to YouTube. But because I feel like 14 days is something that I can wrap my mind around, something that is long enough to see if it's beneficial and if I want to make another commitment to it. So this is another thing that I teach my clients is that baby steps, okay? Consistency and constraint. So in this constraint piece, I wanted to make sure that I was not promising to do more than what I could hold myself to. Because so many times, if we reinforce this idea that we're quitters on diets or things like that, or quitting on ourselves is what it really boils down to, then we are not setting ourselves up for success in other areas of our life. So we always want to make sure that as we challenge ourselves, that we are not setting ourselves up for continual disappointment and despair and frustration with ourselves. I'm going to go climb Mount Everest and I've never even trained and I've never even climbed a baby mountain. No, no, no. We want to do things consistently and with constraint and understand that these are skills and these are muscles that we can develop that then make it easier. All right. So, carnivore diet, 14 days. And I shared why I'm doing the live videos. It's because I want to put more knowledge out because I am age 45 and there's a lot of things about men doing it and there's a lot of things about younger people doing it. And I thought that I would add my voice to my experiences in my mid 40s. Okay, so what is my plan in case you're like, oh, I'm curious? And my plan is this, and it might evolve as I do some more research. I have done some research on it. I haven't gone deep, deep into it. I have attempted this in the past, so I'm not brand new to it, but it's just long enough, 5 or 6 years ago, that I really can't remember too much about it, except I remember that my energy came back. I thought that my energy was, just declining because of age. And I remember that after a certain amount of period, and I can't even remember which is another reason why I want to do this video, so I can look back on this better. I do remember that a big measure of energy came back to me, and I felt more like my normal self, myself that I had forgotten. I don't know if I was just low on iron or what it was, but I do remember that after a certain amount of time, I felt much more energetic. And so, which is another reason why let's try this again. Let's do it for 14 days. Let's pay attention this time. Let's note it. Let's document it and see what comes up. All right. So, I talked about how I'm hoping, number one, for some help with anxiety. Like I said, this is something that I can manage with my tools, but I would like to not have to work so hard to manage that, if that makes any sense to you. It's like I've taken my anxiety down from, 100%, tons of it all the time, down to say 20%. but it's like bumping up to 30% even though I'm using the same tools. And so we're just going to see if there's a physiological component to it. So, anxiety. Secondly, and this, I don't know if this would be because of hormones being released because of anxiety. I don't know if this is because of hormones because of my age. Um, but I have hit the end of the day and I've been extremely itchy. And if I forget and scratch, it gets worse. And so if I just take a deep breath and remind myself, don't scratch, relax, kind of a little bit of mind over matter, it doesn't get too bad. But it's kind of annoying. And I've noticed it's on days when I've kind of pushed myself in my business or I've pushed myself in socializing with others, or I've just dealt with a lot of things in life. So I'm not sure what that is. And I'm not willing to go to the doctor yet for the treatment of the symptoms only, as in, a topical cream or I know a lot of people, this is not a criticism at all. I know a lot of people benefit from medicines for their anxiety. I am just not a person that goes to medicine first. And so I would rather try something that feels a lot more wholesome and natural and like we were created to be, like, examining my diet, even if it seems completely extreme to do a carnivore diet, which is only eating meats or products that came from animals. Um, that's just me. I'd rather try that before I go to me, this is actually the safest experiment I could run before I go to take another medical intervention. Okay. All right. So I've had some itching. I've had some like little bumps in my skin that have been rising up a little bit. Um, I've noticed I am not digesting my food as well. I'm starting to get some more acid reflux. I've always tended to be a little bit lower carb than, your standard American. I don't usually eat bread on a regular basis. I'd be the type that'll eat my hamburger without the bun. Um, I it's not that I completely skip carbs. If we're going out to eat, then I might order something and, that's pasta or something like that. But I don't typically make those things at home. So low-ish carb like. This may be how I should define this. And so And when I indulge in carbs, then I do get some eczema outbreaks, like behind my ears, and I also get some acid reflux. But I've been noticing it seems to be a little bit worse. And so I want to see what happens if I just go all carnivore. Also, I have been working out and I have been going on walks on a daily basis, a good amount. I mean, a couple miles. And that's a good amount for me. I used to never exercise at all. And and it feels like it is only barely with all this weightlifting that I'm doing it twice a week, heavy weights. I've got a trainer. I'm seeing muscle. I am not seeing the scale move. So I'm starting right now at 163 pounds in case anybody cares about numbers. And in fact, I'm still it's like I said, I can see definition, not a lot, um, but it feels like it is barely slowing, it's barely stopping the weight gain, and I'm already probably 20 pounds heavier than I feel most comfortable at, and so that's something else, is that it feels like I'm pretty healthy in a lot of ways, and yet I'm still having slow weight gain. And so, that's something that I wanna keep an eye on. So, Let's see. I talked about anxiety, the weight loss, the itchy skin. Um, yeah, I'm just, when you hit 45, there's a sense that, oh, I've gone through a few decades of my life. And there becomes this not urgency, but you feel like it'd be just wise to spend more of your time maintaining your health for the long run. Like I said earlier, I am a Christian life and relationship coach, and I love my family. I love my husband. I love my children. I love my extended family. I want to take care of myself so that I can enjoy them so they don't have to take care of me. Oh, which reminds me of another health problem. Um, and I also value I want to make a contribution in the world. I want to share the wisdom that God is showing me with others so that we can live fuller lives, filled with joy, filled with blessing, I like to say, be more blessed than stressed. And I think there are wonderful principles of success found in God's word that sometimes that we drive right past when we're focused on the spiritual aspect only. And of course, God made us to be holistic creatures where all of these parts of us, body, soul, and spirit all work together um, in a harmonious way. So I don't think that we can, focus on one area and completely ignore another. And so that's what I want to do. Speaking of health, though, another thing is this: I have had back troubles s- starting pretty young, um, in my early 30s. In fact, I remember a few twinges in my 20s, and it got really serious. And I have noticed that I've done exercises, I've done stretching, but stretching is getting harder. It's almost like I'm tightening up, and I feel like the inflammation is higher, and so I feel like I'm struggling with it literally feels like in my back, like if I sit too long, then I can't straighten out of that position very fast. Like I'm a rusty hinge. And even though like I've been working with my personal trainer about strengthening the muscles, and so I feel like my back muscles are stronger and supporting me better in that area. Um, like I said, that rusty hinge, and it's even getting harder and harder to stretch because I feel like I can't even get a stretch long enough to get into that movement. So that, and then I have some pain in my wrist since January. I injured my wrist in January on a trip. And I've noticed that I have an idea that some inflammation's going on and that would help it. All right. So that's my baseline. Age 45, I weigh 163. I'm looking for the mental benefits of lowered anxiety, more mental clarity. Maybe the video will be so much faster if I'm not thinking so hard. Uh, Lower inflammation, more movement, more stretching in my back, um, less itchy skin. I mean, like I don't even want to touch it because if I do, then I might start scratching and itching. Um, yeah, that about sums it up. Okay, so what am I going to be doing? Well, today's day one. I started and I am usually I would have a latte and this time I only had one coffee. It was espresso made on a Breville machine, and I did not have any milk with it, and I did not have any sweetener with it. So I just drank it. I did not drink an espresso. I drank a probably Americano, equal amounts of water and espresso. So usually I would have two of those. I'm going to cut back my coffees down to one. That's the goal. Because if I go cold turkey, I have tried that before, and that is not the way to do it. So we're going to do that gradually if we're going to cut it out any further than that. But so black coffee, and my main foods will be beef. So I know that I enjoy steaks and ground beef, and eggs aren't bad. I don't actually love eggs, but I've noticed that if I'm really hungry, I will eat them. And sometimes, if you're an emotional eater, it's kind of helpful to put a food like that in there to see, wait, am I emotionally eating or am I eating for health? And so that is why I'm going to keep eggs in the diet. They're very satiating, they're very protein filled. So, beef, eggs, if we can get chicken wings, I would love those. Any animal products would be okay, but I am not going to, for the next 14 days, I am not going to um, let go on the dairy side, like cheeses. I could go way overboard on cheese. I know this about me. So we're going to keep that out of there. We're going to see if we clean her for 14 days. I really want to see what kind of results I get in 14 days. So we're looking at, I'll probably have a steak later today. If I'm still hungry, then I might eat some ground beef with it or an egg with it. But and I'll fill you in. But like for lunch today, today so far, I've had a coffee and I ate 4 eggs that were cooked over easy in some bacon grease. And then my plans for supper today are a steak on the grill and maybe some hamburger or some more eggs or a hard boiled egg or something like that. We'll see. All right. That is day one, well, day 0 to day 1 in a nutshell. And I will be back tomorrow to give you an update on how it's going. Okay? All right. Thanks for hanging with me. Oh, and if this interests you, you should definitely like and subscribe, so you can follow along. But I plan on doing, to the best of my ability, I plan on dropping these for the next 14 days live. Okay? So I invite you to follow along. All right. Bye bye.